Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us right around Australia for this 5th AAAA webinar. This one is on the topic, marketing your business through and beyond COVID-19. My name is Stuart Charity. I'm the CEO of the AAAA, and I'm joined tonight by our keynote speaker, Tiffany Conway, who took on the role of Head of Membership and Marketing here at the AAAA in January this year. I just wanted to kick off tonight's webinar by making a few remarks about the operating environment out there at present. I think it would be stating the bleeding obvious to say that COVID-19 is having a big effect on customer volumes and revenue right across our industry. However, we believe that much of this downturn in activity is as a result of public confusion about what is and isn't open and what you can and can't do under the various restrictions imposed in each state and territory. But it's fair to say that collectively we are hurting, but it's not consistent across the country. Workshops of the same size are equally likely to be booked out until the end of May or struggling to stay open. But everyone is affected in some way, and it's impossible not to be. But our industry is resilient and we're working around this. Many workshops have called and sent SMS messages to their customers, telling them that they're still open for business and that they've got new safety measures in place. And the numbers are really starting to improve, and they should continue to improve as restrictions on people movement are gradually eased around the country. The AAAA is in fact right in the middle of a national survey to see just how hard this crisis is hitting our industry. But I can tell you the early results are that yes, it is having a big effect, and it will take some time for our industry to recover. But people are remarkably optimistic about that recovery period. They're saying that in 3 to 6 months, they'll be back to the same sort of levels that they were before this event occurred. And we do, as an industry, have a great deal to be optimistic about. All the economic indicators that normally drive demand for aftermarket parts and services are pointing to a relatively rapid and sustained recovery once we are through the other side of this crisis. People can only defer the service on their vehicle for so long. So this pent-up demand is already starting to translate into increased workshop volumes. Also, the dramatic decline in kilometres travelled in Australia that we experienced during March and April is starting to turn around as people get back to some sort of normality in their lives. And the combination of lower petrol prices and the need for social distancing will mean that many people will favour the private car over public transport for the foreseeable future. In the medium to long term, airline travel and border restrictions will see more people going on driving holidays again. And 2 successive years of sharp declines in new car sales with no recovery in sight means that people are holding on to their older vehicles longer, which will drive increased demand for our products and services into the future. We just need to band together and support each other to help everyone get through these next few difficult months. And tonight's webinar is designed to provide you with ideas, tips and tools to help build your brand and connect with your customers to drive growth in your business now and into the future. Just before I hand over to Tiffany, I just wanted to run through a few housekeeping points for tonight. The agenda is that we'll start off with a formal presentation of around 30 minutes, and then we'll finish off with a 20-minute interactive Q&A session. So we'll finish up by 7 o'clock tonight. As we've had another fantastic response to this webinar with over 170 people registering, we're not able to activate the microphones of attendees. So any questions that you want to address during the Q&A session should be lodged via the button marked Q&A at the bottom of your screen. We may, based on previous webinars, we may not have time to get through every single question tonight. However, the ones that we don't answer, we'll collate those and get back to you with a FAQ as soon as we can. And finally, tonight, or after tonight's webinar, we'll be sending a link to Tiffany's PowerPoint presentation, so there's no need to take notes. So without further ado, it's my great pleasure to hand over to Tiffany Conway for her presentation. Tiff?
Thanks very much, Stuart, and hello everyone. I'll just share my screen. Okay, hopefully that's all good. All right, so thanks for having me on your computer. It is a pleasure to be here with you. I really appreciate you making the time to participate in this webinar to learn more about marketing. We're going to cover a range of topics and information today. And as Stuart said, you will receive a copy of the slide pack after the webinar. So please just settle in for the next 30 minutes or so, and you can return to the detail a bit later. I am sure that we have got a real mix of marketing experience amongst us. Some of you will take away lots of new opportunities to test in your business, and some of you may leave today's webinar simply with the peace of mind that you are already on the right track. In a time of so much uncertainty, we benefit from focusing on the things we can control, and marketing your business is one of those things. This webinar will provide you with options to strengthen your customer relationships, retention and sales pipeline during and after this pandemic. The marketing and communication steps we will cover are a broad brush introduction and starting point. There's a lot more to learn and cover over time. So today what we will have a look at is your local area marketing, communications channels, some top tips, key messages for the current environment. And something to keep in mind is that your purpose and brand will outlive this crisis. Actions you take now create your reputation for tomorrow. We good? Okay, great. All right, back to the plot. So this slide is about, and what I want to cover in the next couple of slides. They are necessarily a little bit theoretical before we move into more practical tips. So do stay with me for the next few minutes so that we have the right foundations to build an effective marketing plan on. Today, what we're going to look at is foundation and guiding principles only, because we have diverse business types, sizes and locations in the automotive aftermarket. The foundations apply to all, but the specifics need to be tailored. There's significant detail in each marketing item, so today we will skim the surface, and I'd urge you tomorrow to be curious and courageous about marketing your business, so that you can learn what's readily available and accessible for you to use and benefit from, and to start testing different activities and become great at what works in your business. So let's talk about the power of consistency in building trust and then customer recall. Trust is earned over time through consistent experiences across multiple contact points. Earning brand or business trust with a target market is similar to earning personal trust in a relationship. It's hard to connect with a person if they don't introduce themselves, they don't answer when you speak to them, and that can be face-to-face, by phone, email, or social media. And if they behave differently each time you see them for no apparent reason. It's hard to establish rapport with something you can't create a relationship with. And quite often, the friendships we value the most are with the people who are just there when we need them. They're reliable in a crisis, supportive in a challenge, and they know you well enough to meet your needs without you having to explain how. The same applies to businesses and brands. Be the business that is there for customers, which means communicating proactively so they know what you offer and how you can satisfy their needs. So some of the ways that you can be consistent are in your actions to words. So do what you say you will do. And that is, if you promise offering great service, show that you provide great service. If you say you're an important part of the local community, then show that. And I've seen some great examples of that in workshops where, you know, they might have a certificate of participation or a thank you letter from a local school that they've done some work with. And presence in mediums. So be where customers expect you to be and be there consistently. Be fit for purpose. So consistency in how you act and what you offer. So look like you're a specialist in what you offer. And that will be through your competency and the sort of products and messages that you have in your business. Making the time and effort to build trust is important because it helps to put you at the top of the consideration list when your services are needed. Consumers are very good at creating shopping shortlists, and building trust through proactive communication and consistent activity is a proven way of ensuring that you are on that list. Now let's have a look at what's happening in the auto aftermarket, and particularly just over this, what's been a very fast and furious past 5 or 6 weeks. The Australian automotive aftermarket has shown that businesses are adapting to COVID-19 impacts at pace. General feedback indicates that some are reducing negative COVID-19 impacts to their business by managing what they can control. They have ramped up their marketing and direct-to-customer communications, quickly adapted their operations to provide safe and compliant work practices, shared why vehicle owners need to keep up their vehicle service and repairs, and they've recognised and acted on the opportunity to increase new business in changed market dynamics. And that includes things like the redirection of disposable income from cafes to car improvement, filling the gap left by closed businesses, responding to ISO boredom with increased online shopping, entertainment and research. So think of all those vehicle and driving videos on YouTube that consumers have now got time to watch. Many are stepping up to the challenge with a positive attitude and commitment to deliver solutions that their customers want. And another really interesting example of this is in workshops where they've been using FaceTime to run through when a vehicle's been in service, which is really close to a face-to-face interaction and at least allows the customer and the business owner real-time diagnosis and discussion about what the next step will be with that car. The other thing you can do in the workshop is take a quick video and then put it on your social media. And without saying we're open, it very clearly communicates that you are open and doing what you need to do to help customers. So I've got some examples on the screen there of different players in the auto aftermarket, how they've been communicating really proactively and quickly to show that they are looking after consumers' concerns with health and safety and offering really highly sanitised services, the contactless service, that they're following all the rules and regulations that are relevant in each state, that they're open for business and that they're ready to serve customers' needs and help them out now. And the other thing that's great about all these examples, and I'll talk about this a little bit later on, all these companies have stayed true to their brand. So they've adapted their messaging to the current environment, but they are recognisable as the organisations and brands that they've always been. And that is really important in a highly disrupted environment where there's a lot of confusion and uncertainty, and consumers are looking for brands and businesses that they know and trust. So breaking down this thing called local area marketing a bit more. What I've got there is a list of local area characteristics and different parts or components of the marketing mix. Deeply knowing your local area and using different parts of the marketing mix go hand in hand in local area marketing. You know your local area, and it's healthy to keep monitoring this, particularly as different customer segment groups within the area evolve. It is useful to target segments to effectively select media and messages that will maximise your return on investment. To help in understanding your local area, you can go to the members area of the AAAA website, where you will find our car park data. This resource contains demographic and vehicle profiling by local area. It is interactive, so you can play around with the postcodes and see specific statistics for your area. This will help you to hone in on characteristics of your local area population that you need to appeal to. There are two key opportunities in segmenting and targeting. You clarify which customers are most important for your business and therefore who you need to proactively retain for repeat business and referrals. And you can start identifying other people in your local area with similar characteristics to target for new business prospecting. So once you know who you want to target, there's lots of communications options. So some of the channels you can consider in your marketing effort are shown on the screen here. So we've got our YouTube logo. You can use SMS and phone to your customer database. You can work with local councils and groups, email, mail, Facebook, Google, Instagram, on-site signage, local paper and radio for advertising and editorial, and things like sports clubs as well, or other clubs that are prevalent in your area. In terms of how these channels can be used together, I'd like to share an example which I think highlights what a business did to market themselves and what I did as a consumer. So last year I attended a local school fundraiser, and there was a silent auction to raise money for a school event. One item was a voucher for 10 training sessions at a small local gym worth $230. I bid $75 and won the voucher. If I did not see the item and the brand for that company at the local school, I would not have gone to this business. Before contacting them to book my sessions, this is what I did. I Googled them, I read their Google reviews, I snooped around on their website, I asked a friend for their opinion, I checked them out on Instagram and Facebook, and then I rang and booked my sessions. I had a fantastic experience with that business. I had a good chat with the owner. I felt comfortable in the surrounds of the gym or business. Their technical expertise was good. It was clean. They sent me an SMS confirming my booking times. They sent me emails to ask how my first few sessions went. And their location was convenient for me. So all these elements turned me into a loyal customer. So since then, in just under a year, I have shared testimonials for that business on my and their social media. I've recommended them on Facebook community page to hundreds of locals. I've referred 3 school mums specifically, and I have spent over $2,000 there. So that's a pretty good return on investment. And that's, one of the first things I would really like you to take away from that example, is that local area marketing is very worth it. There can be significant and ongoing return on investment. Secondly, all the communication channels that business used to engage with me and deliver on its service offer. So even though it might be restrained to a local area, the local area marketing system is designed to feed the sales pipeline. All elements support each other. It also aligns with a proven trend in marketing that it takes somewhere between 7 to 10 exposures to a brand or business to activate an inquiry and lead to a sale. So let's start talking about some of the tools you can use in marketing and marketing communication. Now, I've put this slide on social media statistics in Australia up just in case there's any hesitation about stepping into social media for your marketing. These numbers are huge. So Facebook at the top of the list with 16 million monthly active users at what is close to 60% of Australia's population. And importantly in there, Facebook demographics, and you can see from 18 to 55, that's where the lion's share of participation is. There's still, as you can see on the left there, some really big numbers still for things like YouTube and Instagram, LinkedIn and Twitter. So I think that's a really good indication that the Australian population has heartily embraced social media, and it's a great place to tell the world about your business. The other item worth highlighting is our search statistics in Australia. So search engine optimization is one of the things I'll talk about shortly, is key to digital marketing success, and here's why. 93% of online experiences begin with a search engine. 75% of users never scroll past the first page of search results. 50% of search inquiries are 4 words or longer. And 88% of shoppers trust online reviews as much as they trust personal recommendations. And this last one is a little bit of a nod to what's developing, and that is 57% of Australians use voice search, and 20% of mobile queries are voice searches. So that is a very strong indication of how consumers are looking for businesses. So let's get into what is going to be really 4 areas of marketing that I think might be most relevant for some of the businesses that we're talking to today. So, database. Firstly, one of the first things with database and marketing from your database is, if you are a little bit quieter at the moment, now is a great time to consolidate and prepare your customer database. If your customer database is currently spread over 2 or 3 systems and maybe a few pieces of paper, it would be a great time, if you have capacity, to get that into one resource that you can start proactively working to grow your sales pipeline. As I've said there, your customer database is your greatest asset. It is a source of new and recurring business. Do keep it in a program that you can frequently and reliably work in. I've suggested there just loosely, Excel can be good. I mean, we're not talking about databases in the millions. So if your database is in, potentially in the hundreds and around that number, Excel is probably going to be okay for you. There's also customer management system and campaign management systems. Segment so you can target messages and media and measure success over time. Record what you did, responses, notes and results. Keep learning and identifying new opportunities. And you can identify new opportunities in your database by observing past behaviour and responses to previous campaigns and contacts. Automate contact to achieve momentum with less work. So one of the things that I'll talk about next is triggers. So I'll go back a step. So you've got your customer database. So you've got all these names and you've got all these contact details. So I think most of you would know you can send those people an SMS message. You can send them an email, mail, make an outbound phone call, invite them to events, whether they're face-to-face or when we're ready, or online, and engage with them on social media. Your triggers are good and common reasons to contact in an automated setting. And the automation can be really handy for the business, because if you're really busy working in the business, but you don't want to lose that momentum, which goes a little bit back to the consistency, so that your customers come to expect that when they're due for a service, they're probably going to hear from you 4 weeks before. And after they've had a service, they might hear from you a week later to ask the question, how is your service? Is everything okay? That's great customer engagement. It's a further touch point to make that customer satisfied with the interaction that they've had with you and more likely to refer your business. Other potential triggers might be things like pre-holiday checks, that you've got a new range of parts or service on offer that are specific to a vehicle or owner type. That momentum is, as I said, it's just really important for building that relationship and building that consistency, and it gives you a good opportunity to further establish yourself as a trusted advisor in their world. As far as social media goes, the only thing I'm going to talk about is Facebook. I would suggest starting with Facebook, and this may vary business to business, but by and large, Facebook is great for local area targeting. You could think targeting down to family status, age group, proximity and interests. And on the right of your screen, I've just done a little bit of a screen grab there just to show how intuitive Facebook can be and the drop downs that it uses. And in this example, I've just done a little bit of targeting by location and age. And you can see on the right, estimated daily results. I have the potential through that Facebook targeting of reaching between 800 and just over 2,000 prospects. And a campaign like that is in the vicinity of about $4 a day. So that's great targeting. So it gets you the reach in terms of quantity, but then also quality, because you're getting to the sort of customers that you want coming to your business. Facebook is also handy. It has additional business marketing tools. It has good analytics for testing and campaign results. And importantly for local area marketing, it has community specific activities. So Discover community groups. My observation, they have been an absolute winner through COVID-19 as more consumers are looking to shop local and support their local businesses. Also with Facebook, it's free for your pages and community pages until you get to paid advertising. And even then, as I've said, it's really quite affordable. It's intuitive to navigate and it gives you the ability to target. I will include in the slide pack for you to refer to some links to videos and checklists to help you get started with exploring Facebook for Business, and some links to what is a great resource that a whole lot of marketers use, and that is a resource called HubSpot. Excellent social and digital marketing resource with lots of how-to videos. And one of the things that I'll say, so for example, a link I've included is a HubSpot video on the ultimate Facebook marketing cheat sheet. It is 8 minutes. I would say to you, it is a very worthwhile way to spend 8 minutes. And even if you want to double back, it's probably a really good way to spend potentially 16 minutes. So do take the time to look at some of those videos and checklists. Speaking, also just talking about Facebook, speaking to members of our Automotive Repairer Council recently, I can report that members across all states are using Facebook from once a week to every day to share and engage with their customer groups. And they have reported back that it is definitely helping them. And I have also seen that their activity is consistent in its timing, topics, and relevance of its messages for now. So, and they've been able to post videos too, which are really powerful, really engaging, and actually quite quick and easy to execute. Just covering off, so a good Facebook page, current and relevant information, frequent activity, good use of call to action buttons, videos, photos, brief posts, not too many words, clear location and responsive. Don't forget, this is a 24-hour medium. So if you don't want to be answering messages at 3 o'clock in the morning, you can set your Facebook page up to at least send a response that says, I will get back to you very, very soon. Search. When it comes to search, my upfront recommendation is seek expert advice. I already know of automotive businesses who have readily outsourced search to ensure the right decisions and actions are taken in a timely way. And changes in search happen fast, so time is important. Search allows you to be found online anytime through any device at the point of need. Search engine optimization will help to drive traffic to your website and claim your local presence. Key to this is your Google My Business or GMB listing to achieve clear local presence. Optimizing your GMB listings is a specialist skill set. GMB is a free tool that lets you manage how your business appears in Google Search and Maps. That includes adding your business name, location and hours, monitoring and replying to customer reviews, adding photos, learning where and how people are searching for you. Keywords help to achieve higher search rankings, so selection and embedding of keywords across your online content is important. Oh, sorry, haven't quite finished yet. There are many owned, earned and paid channels you can use to support your search results. This requires exploration, assessment and planning. There is quite a lot of detail in search engine optimization, and there are agencies that specialise in this, and the minutiae of detail and the specific systems and programming that sit behind it. I have included in the slide pack, which you will get, some links on how to get started by, what you can do yourself is set up your own GMB listing and your local search terms. However, for ongoing optimization and management, you would need to either take the time to learn more or seek expert advice. Okay. Moving on to websites, and this is a really interesting one. It would be very easy to assume, well, everybody's got a website. What I would say to you is that potentially not everyone should have a website. If you can't maintain it, it can actually do you more harm than good. And if you can't keep up with social, digital and legal rules, you should reconsider or outsource. If having and managing a website is right for you, make sure it's mobile friendly, make sure it's got location heavy content for the audience that you're targeting and for your search, to support your search results. Keyword placement, including suburb names that drive local SEO, are important. And design for the user experience. Put yourself in the customer's shoes and use your website like they would. Other websites to consider and things like directory listings. So there are unpaid listings on local sites, including council open for business lists. And there's also paid listings that can help increase your search on things like True Local, Yellow Pages, and I think a few businesses will be on AutoGuru as well. Okay. So that's sort of 4 marketing channels and areas that we've covered off. And then I've got some general top tips, if you like, so for the current environment. The first one is connections. So use your customer database, keep networking in your local area. Local area communities are really active now. They're asking, how can you help me and how can I help you? The support local business mantra is strong. There is an appetite for helpful information and risk reduction in this period of uncertainty. So talking to your local area network and customers, go for it. Presence, be where your audience is. Use of mobile devices, social media and video has skyrocketed. Use Google for search, reviews for decisions, Facebook for details, videos for proof. Show you're open and you're part of the solution as people work their way through COVID-19. Reputation, as I said earlier, your actions today create your reputation for tomorrow. Brief and frequent contact to reassure and educate is right for now. Frequent enough contact so that customers recall you were there during COVID-19 is going to work for you. I'll just quickly glance over this and it'll be in my slides. In sharing some top tips, I've also got a few things that you should perhaps not do. The first one is don't ignore COVID-19 and its impact. Show you are part of the solution and acknowledge the challenges that it's throwing up for your customers. Don't make radical brand or message changes. In times of uncertainty, people seek businesses they recognise and rely on. So stay true to your brand, but maybe just highlight some messages about how you're responding to COVID-19 and, you know, the service and the points of difference that you already offer. Don't be shy about reaching out to your customers. Take the lead in the relationship and let them know you can help. And this is, I've just thrown this in, but we could do a whole webinar on this one. Don't breach Australian consumer law with communications that may be found to be misleading and deceptive. And don't breach privacy laws by mismanaging customer data and outbound contact. It's really important that we still play by the rules. So once you've decided on your channels and you know who you're talking to, what are you going to say? So some key messages for the current environment. Firstly, we are here to keep Australia moving, to ensure the transport of goods, emergency services and support to our communities. Be car care aware. Scheduled services and timely repairs maintain the integrity and safety of the vehicle and ensure that more serious and expensive repairs are reduced. Are you using your car less? Check the battery, tyres and engine are healthy well before you want to use it. Is the warranty service due? Don't risk voiding your warranty. Check the terms and book the service that you need. Safety first. Peace of mind about the service experience. Share hygiene and safety practices about sanitisation, card-only payment. Use videos such as FaceTime to talk through repair details and use online and phone bookings. In thinking about what you want to tell customers, ask what problem you are solving for the customer. At the moment, our customers are likely worried about COVID-19 infection. They might be worried about being able to travel to see loved ones and medical appointments. They might be worried about avoiding a vehicle warranty. They might desire to achieve progress on a car project and they want to support local business. They might be worried about their home budget and they might be worried about an existing car problem getting worse if it's not seen to. These are all things that could be top of mind for your customers, and they're all things that you can provide answers to. All right. Now, here's a message you can also keep talking about that is quite unchanged. So our workshop and consumer feedback shows that we have still got a job to do in telling customers the truth about new car servicing. We still need to help consumers become fully aware of their warranty rights and right to choose their preferred repairer based on relationships, service, proximity, and price. Confident in the knowledge that their manufacturer's warranty will be preserved, regardless of where they get their car serviced. Post-COVID-19, AAA will continue its path to educating consumers about their rights and choices and making mandatory data sharing live. Your opportunity to help consumers make good decisions is even clearer during times of uncertainty. And also, finally, pandemic or no pandemic, automotive workshops have a well-earned and deserved reputation to protect and live up to. Consumer research says 86% of respondents, once you find a good mechanic, you stick with them. 78% of consumers say, I have a good relationship with my mechanic. And 71 say, I trust my mechanic's parts recommendations. 44% say alternative brands are just as good or better, and only 16% disagree. You are a trusted advisor, and your opportunity to communicate with your customers and communities to keep driving Australia forward is clear. In closing, I'd encourage you to make full use of the range of very attainable and manageable marketing tools and channels available today. And remember, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. If you want to make a change to your results, start taking some different actions with your marketing. Oh, sorry. That's a bit sensitive. So for more information, by all means, start doing some online searching and look out for how-to videos and tutorials on things like Facebook for Business, LinkedIn Marketing, HubSpot, and another one, Hootsuite. Seek expert advice from a digital or marketing agency and scan what businesses near you are doing. And cherry pick the good ideas that you see in the community around you and test what might work for you. One of the things we'll do after the webinar tonight is a post-webinar survey. Please use that survey to tell us what you want to learn more about next. All right, that's all from me. Thank you, and I will very carefully stop sharing my screen and we will start taking some questions. All right.
So if you've got a question, if you just go to the Q&A button at the bottom and put it in there, and we can answer those. No one's got any questions. You must have dazzled them. Oh, there we go. I think that's a question. It's a compliment.
I'd also, like, if you think about anything overnight, I'd also throw it out there. I'm certainly happy to answer any direct questions via email as well.
There is a couple that's come through. One from Duncan Boyle. Hi, Duncan. Is there a dollar amount that should be spent on Google per month?
I don't know the answer to that one off the top of my head. However, it's certainly one that I can take away and do a bit of a scan of the market and find out what's normal in auto aftermarket. So, Duncan, if it's okay with you, I might come back to you on an answer with that one.
And the next one's from Peter Rogers. Hi, Peter. Is there any SMS services you can recommend?
SMS services, again, we use a program called Campaign Monitor that helps us out with that sort of activity. But again, it might be something that I need to have a look into. There's quite a number of providers, so let me get back to you on that one. David, can you please repeat what is it that you suggested we spend 8 minutes watching? That will be in the slide pack, and I think it's a how-to on setting up Facebook for business. Typical spends. Yeah, typical spends, Bill. I'll need to get back to you on that one. And it really will vary. There will be huge variation in those numbers depending on the type of business. Danielle, 8-minute video. Yes, that will be in the slide pack. So you'll get that probably tomorrow. Okay, hold on, here we go. Weekend SMS from workshop software package, yes. Depending on the other, thanks Kathy, depending on the other systems, marketing systems you have, they all have different functionality, and you can spend anything, and Kathy, good on you for sharing, but you could spend anything from $95 a month to $1,000 a month on this sort of activity. There is really, and that's what I said at the start, going into what is appropriate business by business really needs to be more of an individual discussion. But I can certainly have a look at what might be common in different business types and send that back to the group.
There's just a couple of questions that came up in chat about the slide pack, and yes, as I said at the outset, we will be sending a link to that slide pack probably tomorrow, so you'll get all of those resources.
Thanks for your question, Tim. So what types of Facebook video or content have you seen that receive the best results? It's certainly I've seen some really great results on footage taken under the hood. So, and again, it depends a little bit on the audience that you're talking to at the time, and certainly content about an issue that might be really topical for a community at that point in time as well. So one of the things you're going to be looking for, Tim, is whatever you're posting needs to be really relevant at that time, and that can change on a day-to-day basis. But if you're looking to enhance your customer engagement, if you're looking to let your community know that you are open and that you're ready to help them, I would really err on the side of consistency. So it might be just posting a series of videos that are appropriate for your business over a longer period of time. Thanks, Carolee.
Just a couple of ideas here. So someone sent out a letter with a 20% discount on labour while they've been quiet, targeting customers that aren't current customers, so new customers, and they've already had 3 bookings, so it's paid for the postage costs. So yeah, there's some really good innovative ideas. I know workshops tend to have informal networks of other workshops as well, so share ideas amongst each other if something works, and you can replicate it in another area and promote your business. But yeah, there is some really good innovative campaigns being done at a local level.
Got a question there from James. Thanks, James. Do you believe that as a business it is appropriate to show personality through your social channels, or should it remain more formal? I think it depends on the audience that you're talking to. I'm all for showing personality if that's appropriate for, if that's going to help you achieve your goals. So I really think the decision making around that needs to come back to your understanding of your target market. That's a very good question. Thanks, Nigel. What would be the best way to use the car park data to improve search engine optimization? Well, the car park data is certainly going to give you an insight into the demographics in your local area, and also the types of cars, so the models in your local area. So and using that, if you decide or identify a segment within all of that that you want to appeal to, then between that segment and the services that you offer, I would be selecting some keywords out of all of that and using that for your search strategy. How regular would service reminders be sent out? Service reminders, weekly. Well, depending on, I guess, how regularly a service needs to be booked for a particular car. For me, it would be more about establishing routine in how much notice you give. So if a service is due at a particular time, I would then get into the routine of potentially sending out a communication, 4 to 6 weeks before that service, and then maybe sending out a reminder, 10 days before as well if you don't get a response. One of the things you can do if you've got an automated marketing system is like a lead nurturing process, whereby you might set up a bit of a routine where you say, I'm going to contact customers 6 weeks before that they have a service due, and then if I don't get a response, I'll send out another communication 10 days later, and if I don't get a response, I will send them an email, and depending on that response, I might send them an SMS. So it goes back to those using multiple communication touch points over a period of time to optimize your chance of getting them to convert. How can we encourage Facebook and is organic engagement better than boosted? Look, organic is definitely going to be, I guess, more authentic and probably indicate a higher quality of engagement. Boosted is going to get you in front of more eyeballs, and that has its benefits as well. But you're probably with Boosted going to need to keep working a little bit at moving through the sales pipeline and building a rapport and relationship with someone to the point that they're going to want to do business with you. So encouraging Facebook interaction and engagement, you can certainly do that, as I've said, through the type and frequency of posts that you make. You can also ask questions, invite participation in some sort of survey or poll, or ask questions about what people are currently doing with their cars, or, a little bit going back to James' question around, do you show personality with your business? It could also be a question that's more around the type of business or the personality of business than you are, instead of the service that you provide. So there's a few things you can do there.
There seems to be a lot of cowboys selling SEO. Yes, I agree with that. Do you have any advice on finding a reputable agent?
I would suggest do your due diligence like you would with any business partner, and potentially do a bit of research first so that you know what questions you should be asking. And seek some recommendations from colleagues and businesses that you admire and respect. So businesses that you see doing well in your area, ask them who they're using as well.
Ivan's quoting the statistic: if 86% of customers stay once they find a trustworthy mechanic, what's the best way to grow your business?
Thanks, Ivan. if anything to say, what's the best way to grow your business? You're probably looking for new customers. There's no doubt you're still competing. So even from a retention perspective, you know, you've still got to put your best foot forward, and you never know where you might get new business from. You've also got an opportunity to grow business from your current clients. So whether your current clients do more business with you, or whether they help you refer to their contacts as well. So between new business and looking at ways of leveraging your existing customer base, there are other ways to grow your business.
Just to clarify too, Ivan, that statistic was that if you're happy and satisfied and trust your mechanic and you know they're going to do the right thing by you, then you're going to stay with them. But there are plenty of people that are not satisfied and are shopping around, and they're really the clients that you want to be trying to attract. So you're keeping your current customer base happy and coming back, and attracting those new clients through your marketing initiatives and through your brand building. Okay, John Benson, hi John. So he's talking about or this is not an anecdote, it's actually a workshop based in Melbourne that SMS'd their entire customer base just after Easter. They basically had no forward book of business, and they did it in a very diplomatic way, just to say that they were still opening and accepting bookings, and they now have a full book of customers right through to the end of May. So that's a really happy story, and we're definitely seeing that those proactive businesses that are actively reaching out to their customers, doing it in a diplomatic way, are generating those forward bookings. So I think it's important to don't just assume that your customers know you're open and that you're there and willing to help them out. You do need to reach out and let them know.
And if I can just add to that, Stuart, the messaging that I've shared is important, because I think it's more than just telling customers that you're open. It comes down to problem solving as well. So in terms of your ability to help them keep their car on the road, and your ability to give them peace of mind that when they get in their car, it's going to work and they're going to keep being able to do all the things they do as part of their lifestyle. So I think showing people that you're open, as I've said, through different channels with things like video and photos, but explain the value that you add, explain or highlight the ways that you can help your customers. I think that's going to hit home a little bit better.
That campaign cost $500 too, so it's a very, very effective way to fill the customer book and let their customers know that they're open for business. Ivan's got another question. Has anyone had success with business acquisition to grow their business?
I'm not entirely sure how to answer that one.
Look, acquiring other businesses is an opportunity, and I think there's certainly going to be businesses out there that are struggling. But yeah, obviously there's significant capital involved in buying other businesses, and it's risky. Certainly, it's cheaper to grow your own business organically, but if you want to grow quickly and you do have access to capital and you think you've got the wherewithal to be able to turn businesses around, then acquisition is a good way of growing quite quickly. But you need to be very careful.
Henriette, what is your opinion on the number one way to increase name recognition in your area? My number one recommendation would be write a plan to do that, because it's going to be the integration of media selection and messaging that's going to be powerful for you, probably not one thing. I mean, the one thing might be covering television screens, but that's unaffordable for most. You're not going to get a great return on investment, I wouldn't have thought. But certainly an integrated marketing communications campaign which requires a little bit of planning.
And just a tip from Nigel to make sure when you've got Facebook photos that you show social distancing. I think there's a few NRL players that have come unstuck with that.
Yeah.
But yes, make sure that everything you put up publicly is obeying the current rules. So good tip there. All right. Well, look, I think we've exhausted the questions. There's been some great questions there. So thank you very much for that. And Tiffany, thanks very much for your insightful presentation. I hope that's helped everyone out there give them some ideas and ways of moving things forward. As I said, we'll send out that link to the PowerPoint presentation tomorrow. So just in closing, I did want to thank you all for your participation in this webinar tonight. I know even though we are going through this isolation period and what have you, I think most businesses have never been busier behind the scenes. So we appreciate you allocating some time at this time of the evening. And we also really appreciate your own ongoing support of the AAAA. Our team are really committed to doing everything we can to support you during this difficult time. And if you haven't already done so, I'd certainly recommend that you visit our website. There's a special COVID-19 section of our website at aaa.com.au, where you'll find a huge amount of resources covering areas such as communicating and marketing to your customers, accessing government assistance packages, as well as information on how to manage your business and your staff during this time. So in closing, just a reminder that we all need to stay strong. We need to look after each other. We need to look after our staff, our friends, our family. But just know that there is significant support to help you during these unprecedented times. Don't be shy to reach out, pick up the phone, talk to your colleagues in the industry, talk to us. There is a lot of help out there, and you know, we just need to work together to get through, as I said, these next few difficult months and really emerge from this crisis stronger and even more resilient on the other side. So thanks again for joining us this evening, and I hope everyone has a great night. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.